Welcome everyone! Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those of you wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons. More specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. Because, we don't want you to mistake this for something else. Well, there's not a lot of things, but there are things that could be mistaken, and I don't want to get sued because I'm claiming something that's not true. So it's a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. If it's not something you want to watch, well, we started. We're not going to stop. So depending on where you're watching this, to the right or to the left, there are other suggestions. For everyone else who is actually here because they want to be here, because they think it's fun to watch us, to make fun of us, do both. Because someone said that it's fun to be with us. For all of you who actually want to be here, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
We are at the Smash Mouth of D&D.
That's interesting. New concept. Okay, so well, that's about everything that needs to be said. Later on, as usual, probably Chaotic Calling will be joining us. If you're wondering who they are, there's a link below. On YouTube, it's in the description, and on Twitch, it's on one of the panels. And the campfire you're hearing comes from Ambient Mixer. There's also a link if you want to go on their website. You can make your own ambient sound or download one. It's free to make one. It costs something to download it. And that's it. Now that's all the publicity that this channel can do. There's literally nothing else we can say. So let's get started into this. And don't worry, eventually there'll be more. I know I keep saying this, but I'm the only one working on this. I don't have a team. Alright, so what happened previously? Well, there's not going to be a lot to say because the party finished what it was here to do. They arrived at the monastery, they saved the monastery, they went into the mountain, they defeated a reforming avatar of a god, and then they left the mountain, still alive. But as they were celebrating, actually after they celebrated, in the morning, a few things started to happen, hinting that there's more coming. Aha! You have leftovers from the celebration. How's your rock?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Alright, so there was a prophecy told, as audience called it. And as they all decided to leave and as quickly as possible rejoin with the rest of the adventurers of the garden, they met someone alone in front of them. This person had something to say, something to the group about this not being the end, not being where it all ends. There's more, and apparently not everyone sees it. But just as he said that, he turned around, and you found yourself in front of a familiar sight for some, and less familiar for others. Oh, I have a photograph. What is happening here? Here we go. You found yourself in front of a person wearing an emblem that some of you has seen before, but not everyone. An emblem that keeps shifting as you're watching. It punches you in the stomach, makes you uncomfortable just watching it. And every time your mind tries to set itself on what it is, what it represents, it just seems to shift and your mind loses what it wanted to say. And try as it might, it just never comes out. The only thing you are able to say when you watch this emblem is it's unshaped. And this is where tonight's session begins, with an initiative and a transition toward the battle map.
An initiative, okay.
Yeah. Oh, chaotic calling.
Yeah.
Already so soon. Nice.
Damn.
Right in time for the fight.
Starting off with a solid 6.
All right.
Solid 6, let's go.
Jorg is a 6. Tobiyashi?
Second, we are a 1 roll. 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Audience?
I'm muted. Sorry. I rolled a 16 and my cat rolled a 7. But since I'm right now riding my cat, it will be a 16 for both of us
Okay.
until I get off my cat.
If you get off, it falls to a 7. Okay. Remy.
13.
And that is it. All right. So let's start this off with combat music. A little bit more impressive because it's a bit more of an impressive fight. All right. So I've placed you according to your usual walking place. Except the monster should be here instead. Alright, so the initiative starts with Tobiyashi.
Oh gosh. What are we fighting? What does it look like that we're fighting?
It looks like a normal humanoid. He's wearing the garb of a classic barbarian, so not a lot. As soon as combat started, however, you do see his hand slowly starts to shape into claws. Audience, this is something you've seen before as a Dragonborn. A lot of beast-looking species will often use this path with barbarian, the beast path, and so his hands are turning into natural weapons because of that. But other than that, right now it just looks like a human, large human barbarian. With claws instead of weapon. He doesn't have a longsword on his back, but he seems to be relying on his claw only. Like I said, on his back, before he turned, it was the emblem of the wolf god, but as soon as he turned, you saw this emblem on his chest, where the cloth is right in front. An emblem that you've seen once before in the past, when you were long ago inside of the Goblin's Den. Made you feel just as sick. And that's what you see.
Alright. I am going to move up. I'll move up my full 40 feet. And then I am going to throw my dagger at him. Hello?
Yep. I'm moving you on the battlefield.
Okay. And then let's see. Come on. Okay. That is a 16 to hit.
16 to hit. You hit, just barely.
Alright. And that is... See, come on. Hello? 7 points of damage. Haha.
7 points of damage. It's piercing with nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what he does. And that's all I'm gonna do.
He winces, probably. 'Cause the dagger just got stuck in him.
You throw your dagger, and the dagger goes flying right toward him. It just nicks the side of his shoulder as he tries to move away from it. It's hard to tell right now, but you're convinced it's supposed to have hit him a bit more square on than this.
Okay.
In D&D term, your damage wasn't as high as you rolled.
Mhm. And yeah, that will be about it for now. I'm just gonna watch what he's doing after that. See how he attacks.
Alright. Well, we go down to 16s, which means it's audience and the monster at the same time.
What's his dex? Mine's +3.
His is also, and it's also the same number.
So I guess we gotta roll off. Okay.
Alright.
Alright, I will roll his flat roll. Why? No! Not now! Next roll, please. Well, I won. I rolled a nat 20. No! I don't want it! I want it on my
It's like
attack.
bad D20, bad. That was the wrong
Well,
time.
you definitely go
It was a
first.
long time.
God. Alright, well... Actually, my cat will technically lead us off, because it will go pounce on him.
Okay.
It'll run up, and it will pounce on him. Which means it's attacking him with a claw. Which is
It can move
plus
40 or 50?
50.
50, alright, then you have just enough, yeah.
Count in.
There's 4. For a 22. That'll
22
hit.
is enough to hit.
So, something.
What? I only...
I don't actually have the cat open right now. I'm trying to open the
Okay.
cat.
I'm trying
Double-
to open the
double.
cat.
The page of the cat.
You're trying to go inside your cat?
Here we go. It is a pounce. It is 20 feet. Okay, DC 13, and the claw is +4, which I was correct. It's 6. 1d6 +3. Alright, so yeah, he hits for 8 damage.
8 points of damage. Alright. So...
And then the guy has to succeed on a DC 13 strength saving throw or be knocked out.
And this is where... Okay. And you said you
Let's see,
do...
first. Attacks first.
You said you do 8 points of damage?
Yeah. So probably 4, since my cat's claws are not matching.
Indeed, it does do less damage than what you rolled. And you say a strength saving throw?
13, yeah. DC 13. Strength saving throw.
I rolled an 18.
Alright, he is not knocked prone, which means my cat does not get a bite attack, so that'll end my cat's turn, and then Audience will swing at him with his greatsword. 4.
So we're in the middle of the woods right now, right?
Miss.
You're in the middle of a mountain. This whole area
Yeah.
looks like it's been cut with a knife. It's flat, and you can see everywhere.
I'm not happy. I wasted my 2 good rolls on my freaking, going first and my cat's attack. Audience misses twice.
Damn.
Alright, so Tobiashi, we're still in the middle of a mountain. So it's really just a rocky field, few pebbles and stone, but the entire area, everything you can see on the battle map, seems to have been as if it was cut with a knife. It's an even flat surface.
I will use a level 1 spell to cast. You know what? Actually, no, I won't, because it's a concentration. No, actually, I still should, because it's B.
Okay.
No, I won't. Actually, no, I won't, because I know I'm about to be hit. So, no. I actually won't. I missed twice. There's no point now. And I forgot to do it beforehand, so there's no point.
I missed. There's no point now.
Audience has given up!
The DM is going to quit early today because he needs to celebrate.
Alright.
How much am I taking?
Alright, well, hold on. You don't know yet. Alright, so, on his turn...
Barbarian Misty Steps.
Yeah, he explodes, everyone dies.
Actually, I think I just die. I think everyone else is at least far enough. They're over 50 feet.
Well, if it's blue dynamite, blue clay, no, everyone gets hit.
Damn.
Alright, so, as his turn arrives, immediately you see some sort of reaction in his body. The dagger that just nicked his shoulder from Tobiashi, and Magna's attempt at injuring him, you see the area where there is this small drip of blood just seems to shift and move, and you can sort of see the muscle mass around it just get slightly more imposing.
Haha, you see, I knew he would get stronger from taking damage, which is why Audion missed. It was all a play.
It was all part of his plan.
Alright! Man, I've never rolled so good with you!
Oh, good. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, I know.
As long as
Alright.
it's not me.
23, 18, and 24.
Yep, they all hit.
Oh man.
Okay, so he lashes out at you with 3 claws attack. 3 claw attack. And he does seem to be in quite a bad mood. He is a barbarian, he had the attack, so he's raging right now.
Yep. I'm gonna guess about...
Raging Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna guess right now I'm taking about 30. All
Alright,
three
so
attacks
it's...
combined. That's gonna be my
65.
hit. I don't think I'm taking 65. I think I'm taking around 30.
28 points of slashing damage.
Look at me. I'm pretty good at this game.
All 3 slashes just tear into you, and you see a bit of
Ow.
blood come out.
Pain.
My old friend. Alright.
Also, I kind of screwed you guys there by going first. My bad, because he didn't walk up to Toby because of that, so now you guys can't reach him. My bad. Oh no, wait, we have ranged guys left. We're fine.
Yeah,
We're not-
sure. Don't worry about
Yeah.
They still have their movement. We're alright.
it. I know, he's perfectly fine there. He just attacked. He looks pretty angry, attacking the one that looked the most imposing, but has disappointed him slightly. So who knows? Maybe next time he'll attack something else. But
Disappointed himself as well.
So the next one in the initiative is Remy with 13.
All right. Raimi immediately seeing that that his man is being brutalized. Would that be a Raimi move in this moment? Yeah, you could totally get there. Raimi is quickly going to dash to N7 using the dash action as his bonus action.
Okay.
And then he is going to pull out the Bloodhound and literally stab him in the back.
All right, go ahead. You see Remy just dart on the battlefield, going straight for the enemy, using all of his roguish knowledge to get right
Goes
behind
through
him.
my legs and off to the left.
Although, incidentally, I am a little sad that this barbarian isn't made of rock. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
That is enough.
All right. Grab the D4 and the D6s, because you're not using the bow this time. That is gonna be... Oh, that was about to be really sad, but it made up for itself. That was going to be a 6, 12, 14, 18 piercing.
18 piercing, alright. Just like everyone else who attacked, you are slightly destabilized by the fact that you hit him as hard as you can, and the dagger goes right into him, and there seemed to be resistance as you're pulling off. It didn't go as deep as you thought it would, meaning it has resistance.
Almost like it got caught in his traps. But
his bulging muscles are just too hard. I'll let you stew on that for a while.
But yeah, that's all of Raimi's actions, so that's all he can do.
Okay. Then in that case, Jorg.
All right, Jorg is going to move his 30 feet forward to be right behind Tobiyashi. And he's going to cast. He kind of didn't think he'd be fighting, so he doesn't have all the spells that you'd like him to have. But he does have Aura of Vitality, so he's going to cast that. And Audience is going to get 6 health back.
Audience appreciates it.
Not as much as I'd like.
Right.
But hey, it's bonus action. That'll be his turn.
With you, sir, you can use your bonus action to cause one creature. Okay. Yeah. It's close enough. Alright. Yeah, good. Okay. Then we keep on going. That was initiative 6. Which means we go back to the top of the initiative. His audience feels this shower of positive energy. Tobiyashi, you almost feel bad about not being injured as you feel this aura of positive energy also wash over you.
Okay,
Almost feel bad. So it's your turn now.
Alright, my turn. Okay. So, I'm going to move 20 feet. I'm gonna go to the right side of the big bad guy. And so how far do you have to move out of somebody's attack to get attack of opportunity?
As soon as you go outside of his attack range. So
is that 5 feet?
It depends. Usually, yes. But if he has a weapon that has reach or very long appendages, it can be longer than that. As far as you can tell, he's using claws. So unless he has an ability that you haven't seen yet, he should only be 5 feet. He should only have a 5 feet range.
So do they have to move by themselves, or can they be pushed out of it?
No, they have to move by themselves.
Okay. All right. I am going to attack him with my mace because I don't have my knife anymore. So I'm going to attack him with my mace, and then
well, your knife is on the ground.
Yeah. Go with that first.
All right, so you're right next to him, M8?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a 14 to hit.
That is not enough to hit.
All right, and then I'm going to use... why not? I'll use a key point and use Fury of Blows.
All right, go.
And I'm going to attack him for... blows. 1...
Technically, shouldn't we get advantage now, though, on our attacks, because there are 3 around him?
Yes, I'll give the... it's a triangular formation. I'll give it.
All right.
So you can re-roll your first one.
Well, the second one was a critical one, so we'll go with the 7, and and then Fury of Blows. So 1. That's a natural 20 on the first one.
Well, that's definitely enough to hit.
And then second one. Let's see. If these first hit, then I don't have to.
Sad part, it's doubling a d4.
Yeah, it's doubling a d4. So, and then that's another hit. So, wait, no, 22 to hit.
That is enough to hit.
All right. So let's go. First hit. $11 points of damage because it doubles the first one, right?
It doubles the any dice you roll. So it's a d4,
so
but you also have your stat bonus, which doesn't get doubled.
Yeah. So I rolled an 8, and then that's plus the 3, so that is 11. And then my next hit does... Oh, of course it would roll low. And that is a 4 for the second hit. And I will... I want to use it. It looks like this is the only guy we're fighting, but I won't use it yet. And then that'll be the end of my turn.
Alright. So, just like a real monk, you use your... the mace head that you tied to a length of rope. Yeah, exactly. You just swing it around, try and hit him, and then keep following with blows with your fists and your feet. And exactly like everyone else, you are slightly dismayed by the fact that this should hurt more. He's barely reacting to blows that you're doing. So right now, with all of you combined, you can guess that he has resistance against slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning.
I would, but yeah, no, it wouldn't do anything. We need him right there. Okay, yeah. Let's keep going.
Alright. Then in that case, next one initiative is Audience and the Beast. Or the enemy.
Are we rolling off every time, or are we just saying that I go first? Because that's how it was established.
I'll let you go first. We rolled once. We established that your adrenaline is pumping slightly higher than his.
Okay. Alright, well, my cat will just lead off with a casual swipe then of his claws. With a 15 to hit.
That is unfortunately not enough.
Alright. My cat will miss. That is fine. Doesn't do too much array, and then audience will swing 2 attacks again. 1 attack for a 17 to hit.
That is enough.
Alright. I don't... Oh, I forgot. Okay. He won't do it on his first attack. His first attack he will just hit with, normally. Second divine smite yet. I'm going to hit for 12 damage.
Okay.
Then, in between the second attack, he's going to remember to cast Divine Favor.
Okay.
So that's active. And then he's going to swing with the second attack.
And you have advantage.
Oh, I forgot about advantage on the first one. That's okay. And will somehow still miss with advantage.
Dang.
Actual pain.
At least you haven't used divine. Wait, have you? Oh my god, never mind. I didn't say anything.
I mean, to be fair, this guy's probably not even going to attack me. I'm not doing any damage to him. Doesn't care about me.
You have no aggro.
I have no aggro right now for once.
All right.
Yeah, that's Audience's turn. Audience hits him for 12. Jesus.
All right. Well, you hit him as hard as you can. You try. Your Magna tries to bite him, but he just shrugs it off. You manage to hit him once, but again, the damage is less than what you would expect. On his turn, however, you see his body starting to react again. You see as if his skin was slowly changing color, becoming thicker. He will... Oh, let's go. Let's see this.
He's now thick with 3 C's.
He's thick and with bulging muscles. I know I'm not helping you. So, first attack will be Remy, second one will be Magna, and
He's got the Rumpelstiltskin.
the third one will Magna.
Oh, my cat. Leave my cat alone.
Your cat did damage.
Wait, am I getting hit? Oh no.
No.
I'll attack the one. I'll use my reaction to hit him when he tries to hit Remy.
Okay. Well, actually, the only one that there's a slight chance that he might be hitting is... It's Remy with a 16.
16 will miss.
Miss, alright. The other ones, well, there was a natural 1 in there, and there was a 2, so...
Those are good checks. Alright, audience will hit with his reaction.
Alright, he seems slightly overwhelmed by the quantity of people attacking him, but he redoubles in rage. Go on, audience. Attack
You know what?
him.
I'll use a level 1 Divine Smite. For... That's 9 plus 2d8. Good on that. 15. So I hit him for 15 radiant damage and 9 regular damage.
Also a D4.
Oh, also a d4. Thank you. I would not have remembered.
Oh yeah, we have a D4.
I hit him, sorry, for 17 radiant damage.
Alright.
17 radiant damage and 9 physical damage.
Oh.
Finally, got some damage in there.
What's the D4 for him?
Divine Favor.
Oh,
Fine favor.
yeah.
Alright, so...
Does he at least flinch from that one?
No, there's definitely a reaction from him as soon as you hit him. And, oh goodness, this is still in his turn. Okay. You hit him, and he definitely reacts to it. But because he's still in his turn. As you hit him, he turns around, looks at you, and just starts roaring. But you see all the damage that you just inflicted. You see all of the radiant energy that just bumped into his body. It just seems to keep floating around him. It did damage, but it's not leaving. It's gathering around him, inside of him. And the damage that you just inflicted, you see his muscle mass just grow and grow and grow and become even larger. His size increases, forcing Remy to take one step back. He is now a large creature.
Man is massive.
Yo.
I'm like, okay, guys, I think we should kill him quickly. He obviously is getting stronger as we hit him.
After that blow, he just sort of looked right at you, audience. You said, okay.
Luckily, he has no attacks left, so...
No, he doesn't have any attacks left, but everything about him seems to have increased. His muscle mass increased. His arms have increased in length and in width. Alright. And then we go down to Remy.
Oh yeah, just Remy is having some conflicting opinions about this. It's sort of wishing that audience somehow had the same feature, but you know, shaking himself out of that daze, Remy is going to step toward 05. He's gonna pull out one of his rusty daggers.
Let's kill him with tetanus.
So he's gonna attempt with the bloodhound first. Where are you? There you are. No, that's only a 15. God.
That is not enough to hit. You are so impressed by what just happened that you're sort of destabilized and you try and hit, but yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna use my bonus action to attack with the rusty dagger.
Go ahead.
Oh, there we go. How do you feel about critical tetanus damage?
Critical tetanus damage. Go ahead.
Okay, that's 1, 7, 11, 14 plus 18, 21, 23, 27. So 31 piercing from the rusty dagger.
31 piercing. Alright.
Remy is going for the long haul, folks.
Alright. Hold on, I have a description here. Alright, so as you hit him that strong, he uses a reactionary action and turns around and hits you with the backside of one of his claw. It is a swipe attack. Good lord. 18.
Remy will go ahead and shield that. He didn't like how big those muscles got.
You see this arriving at an incredible speed and strength, but fortunately you raise your shield just in time. And you see it bounce. You even step 1 or 2 step back. Not enough to be pushed outside. Well, actually, no, okay. You step just 1 or 2 step. Not enough to be pushed 5 feet away. But that was massively more stronger than what was before. All right.
Maybe just looking across the way at audience with a pleading look on his face, ending his turn.
All right. Which means now we go down to Jorg.
Jorg. Well, he's gonna bonus action heal audience again for 7 this time.
Whoa.
Nice.
Although maybe you should have considered healing Raimi this time.
I didn't even get hit.
Oh,
Because of
Oh,
shield.
it was audience.
Audience is still the only one.
oh right, yeah. And then he's going to do a quick.
Hey, quick what?
So quick, we didn't even see
Yeah,
it.
it was too quick. You don't know. If he ice knifes us, it'll hit you guys with the little explosion. So
Don't.
he's just, yep. He's gonna cast Shillelagh.
Okay.
No, wait, that's another concentration. Never mind. Yeah,
Well,
he's
not
just gonna-
concentration, but it uses your bonus action.
Yeah.
Which you don't
Oh
have.
yeah, yeah. I could not use a bonus action and just cast it as an action, right?
No, the way that D&D is made, you can't switch around the
Oh.
different types of action.
So that's specifically okay. I see.
If it's a bonus action, it can only be a bonus action. It's a bit weird, but I also understand why in some specific situation it's not.
So we don't know. He didn't get stronger because it was specifically the I just had the name of it. The
Radiant?
yeah, radiant damage, right? It was
All you know right
Just-
now is that he's getting bigger, and every time he suffers damage, when his turns come back, his body seems to get stronger where he was injured.
all right.
He's
the
he's
pro
beginning
strat
to look a little
to heal.
deformed.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, he's just gonna. Jorg's just gonna sacred flame him, which is a Dex 15.
Hear me out, audience. Kicked him in the balls. It's like, just do this one favor
Anchor him to the
for
ground.
Rainy. I mean, me.
17 saving throw.
Oh, he rolled a 17.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe
Is
Sacred Flame is all on
It's
all or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So that's my turn. Actually, I'm going to advance to J6. Cool. Yeah, that way everyone's in my aura. Cool. Yeah, now that's the end of my turn.
There's a there kept being something weird on the map. There was a monster, not from this attack, but from another
Oh.
one. There was an invisible monster. All right, so Jacek. All right. So you concentrate, but everything that's happening distracts you slightly, and you can't focus. His muscle, they're just getting so big.
Yeah.
All right, so Jorg, which means we go back to top of the initiative with Tobiashi.
So what I'm going to do
Yeah.
is I am going to use my bonus action and sprinkle my last bit of dust on my ball.
You have one use left.
Yeah, I have one use left. I've only used it twice.
Okay.
And then, after that, I am going to whack him with it with my action.
Okay.
So that's a plus 1d6, right? Fire damage?
Yep.
Okay. And we go in. And wait, do I still have advantage or no?
You're still in a triangle formation. Yes, you do.
Alright. That is
Don't worry, guys, I have it covered for mobility.
That's a 17 to hit.
It is no longer enough. His skin has gotten thicker, and your attack
Alright.
bounces.
After it bounces, I'll use the momentum of it bouncing in, swing it, and use an action surge to go in and hit him again.
Go ahead.
Does a 19 hit?
19 is enough.
Alright. I hit him and one. That is... Six. Okay. Well. That is 10 points of damage. Let's go. And he catches on fire. No.
So 10 points of damage. Which portion is fire? Which portion is...
3 is fire, and then the rest is just the bludgeoning damage.
Okay. So 3 is fire. And the bludgeoning damage is
7.
7. Damn. All right. It's kind of... All right. Which means Tobiyashi twice.
I thought.
Remy. Tobiyashi. Okay. You thought what?
Oh, no, nothing.
Okay. So, when you hit it, of course, the damage hits not as hard as you want. The fire of the attack, however, does seem to catch on him, but just like Audience's attack, it seems to keep moving on him, mixing with the energy of the divine smite that Audience used. It took the damage, but there's
Are we buying Eclipse?
What?
I asked, are we buying Eclipse?
Oh.
Nearest cliff estimate.
Several miles.
Uh,
All right. We go to Audience.
Alright. Audience's cat is gonna swing at it. And a... Not enough. 15.
That is not enough.
And then Audience is gonna swing at it. 2 attacks. That's... A 21, I assume, hits.
Yes.
But I'll see if I roll nat 20. I did not. Okay, so 21 to hit, and Audience will use another Divine Smite. So that's going to be... That's 3 there. 2d8. Ooh, bad roll. 7. Only 7 radiant damage. That's pretty shitty. And then...
Including the D4?
Yeah, including the d4.
God, that is sad.
Where's my... and then put the 7 radiant with... Pretty good for that. 13 for 13 physical.
Okay.
And then he'll swing again. So I'll get going on that. Oh. It's not going to hit anymore. That should hit. Does a 19 hit?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so he'll hit with the second one too. For 11 physical damage, and then he will use one more divine smite. Four and 4 and 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 and 4 is 16 for 16 radiant damage.
16, wow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Second one was good. Now this man is upset though.
You can bet.
Very large.
The
Yeah,
onslaught of attack that you all unleashed on him has definitely made him quite angry, and you start seeing his body violently react to all of this damage that he has just taken. The wound that Remy managed to make, he's still nursing it. He seems to be showing signs of fatigue, but when he pulls his hand away from the wound, you see a third arm just burst out of his body,
Jesus
increasing
Christ.
the number of attack that he can do.
That is a weird side effect of tetanus.
You've never seen it before. Secondly, as he seems to be looking at all of you, seems to be losing itself in the rage, just looming at everyone, looking in every direction, looking at everyone. You see his skin grow even thicker than before, adopting a darker shade. And then finally...
He has 20 AC, by the way, guys, now. Just letting you know.
I think he's as hard as a rock now, we could say, you know?
Well, he's definitely got something that's hard as a rock.
Oh, no.
Stab it.
He looks at all of you and unleashes a roar, letting all of the magical energy he kept absorbing from your attack.
That's unfortunate for us.
Everyone within 15 feet of him, which means quite literally everyone.
Ooh.
No, George's 25, right?
I moved
25.
up
Oh,
to
sorry.
6, but it hasn't updated yet.
He's actually exactly at
Yeah.
15.
Oh, the map's not updated. That's fine.
It's
Yeah.
just gonna take 1 moment. Don't.
Oh, yeah. 5, 10 minutes.
And it is a wave that just burst out so fast. It's like standing next to fire. You all take 22 points of radiant damage, including
There's not even
Magnum.
a save for that?
It's just a burst of energy. He's been accumulating it.
Pain.
But when he does that, you see all of the energy dissipate. All of the energy that kept moving on him, it just disappears. You get the feeling that for now, as long as you don't use magic, it's not gonna happen again.
Well, I'm not gonna stop using magic. I'm trying to kill this thing.
No, it's a bitch of an attack, but it's like what was it called again? An aura of fire from a monster. Essentially, the moment you enter into its aura, you start taking damage just because you're there. But it was...
Oh, Jork, did you roll a save for your concentration?
Oh,
I gotta roll a save for my concentration. Remember, you get plus
+2.
2. You get plus 2 to it, Avery.
oh, cool. I got a 14. Or 16.
I got a 22.
both of you, it is enough to keep concentration on this. Alright, so now he is at this. Alright, and finally, as this dissipates, and he just turns toward... Well, it's gonna be... We've got 4... Let's go with D8s. He's got 4 targets, and as he's attacking all of you, so counterclockwise. Let's go clockwise. So 1, 2 is Remy. Remy gets attacked once. 3, 4. Tobiashi gets attacked once. 5, 6. Audience, do you want 5, 6, or does Magna get 5, 6?
Farewell, my cat.
So she goes 5, 6, and you take.
Yeah.
All right. 5, 6, which means audience, you get 2 attack, and Magna gets none.
Yes! My cat lives.
All right, so he turns around and
On Remy's attack, by the way, I'm attacking him.
okay. Well, he attacks this one first. So go ahead.
Alright, that's gonna be... Actually,
Remy doesn't manage to hit you. It's
You should
12.
attack him on his last attack, so he doesn't have time to. So if he does get more
I hit
powerful, he doesn't get more powerful while
So-
it's
his
attacking
last
the
attack is
Or
me, and I
powerful,
might
right.
die. So I'm not gonna do that.
so just so that
It's
you know,
fair.
the elements of this fight, some of them are reaction to damage as he's getting weaker. So this is why some things seems to happen not necessarily when they should, or they go beyond his normal quantity of attack.
And 2. Alright, he's being hit for 10 physical. And then I'll tell you how much radiant. 3 plus 3d8. 3 plus 12, so that's 15 radiant. So 15. He's been hit for 15 radiant and 10 physical.
Good lord. Well. You're forcing me to reevaluate some of the decisions that I took. Okay, well, technically, it's still his turn. And I have to rethink that if I ever redo this quest. Because he took so much damage in a single blow. He attacks Remy, but as your blow just strikes into him and digs deep in his body, when you take your sword out, a 4th arm sprouts from the
mean
wound that you just made.
You
Adding,
mean a 5th arm?
yeah, and a 4th.
He
Oh,
had
I thought he had...
3.
He has 3 attacks with 2 arms, so now he has 4 attacks. And another one with the bonus action, because he's technically still a barbarian. So apparently there's a new attack that has to be taken into consideration. And Magna is going to be the one taking this.
sorry, my cat.
I'm running out of d20s to roll.
Guys, we need to kill this thing in the next, 2 rounds. I don't think we're surviving that long into this phase.
Okay. Alright, I said the next one Remy missed. Tobiyashi is a... We are now at... Large... 22 to hit.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits.
And he's doing... There's 1, 2...
GM pulls out a percentile die.
Okay, so the slashing damage that hits you for minimum damage. Sorry, my mind is rebooting. 8 points of slashing damage.
Alright.
Then we have Magna.
Yep.
I believe a natural 20 hits.
Yep. It was my cat alive off the natural 20, is the real question.
Oh, jeez. He just raises one hand and slam into Magna for 27 points of damage.
Yep, that kills it.
He just poofs out.
Audience awkwardly kind of falls from 5 feet up because he's just wait, what? My cat just is gone.
Okay, and then 2 attacks on you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Alright. Oh yeah, that's right. 2 attack, not 3 attack. Okay.
2 attacks on me.
2 attacks. 26 and 24.
Yeah, it's not even close.
So it's... Is that it?
I hope that's it.
19 points of slashing damage as the 2 remaining attack just starts tearing into you.
I'm in pain. Alright. Down to 12. Still fighting.
And then, as his turn ends, you suddenly start hearing a sizzling sound as you realize that the blood that has been pouring out of him so far, bits and pieces of it has been just dripping on you. And it starts burning.
Oh, good.
Also, he's a xenomorph. The extra arm is the mouth that comes out of his mouth.
Oh, yes. 2 saves for Define Favorite. Thank you.
It starts...
There's another nat 20 that I don't care about. And a 13.
It starts burning. Audience.
20.
Audience, you take 3 points of acid damage.
Okay.
Remy, you take 3 points of acid damage. Magna is no longer there, so she doesn't take any points of acid damage. And Tobiyashi, you take 3 points of acid damage.
I am dying.
Oh, sorry.
Are you at 9?
No, I'm not dying yet. Like, it looks like I'm dying.
Sorry, audience. That's right. Because you hit him while he was trying to hit Remy. It's 4 points of acid damage, not 3.
Alright. I don't think 8 or 9 is going to make a big difference since his min. I guess it puts me. If he hits me again, so I'm dead next round. So I'll try and do what I can before I die.
All right.
Luckily, I go first.
Okay, this is it. No more reaction from damage. No more. No legendary action possible here. Reaction there. All right, that's it for his turn. It's so we go down to Remy. You see audience slowly melting. Magna, you also are slowly melting. Magna disappeared. Tobiyashi looks like he wants to run away.
It is feeling that way.
I'll ask DM, does he still look like he's hard as a rock?
Oh yes. And it looks like he could even get harder than that. It's gonna be adamantium.
Rainy would like to attempt Booming Blade.
So,
You can decide whether it actually applies or not, but I just can't think of a more perfect situation for Raimi to transition.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna argue.
Does a 22 hit?
That is enough to hit.
Okay. I'm killing myself over here. That tray is starting to get full. That's going to be, let's see, 2, 6, 11, 15, 18. Yeah, that's correct. 18 piercing and 5 thunder.
And 5 thunder, which means... Okay. Okay. It did damage! You succeeded the transition! You went from stone to rock hard habs to flesh!
Yeah, just it's like wait a minute, this seems familiar. As it just Booming Blade stabs into this, it's like, and still weirdly, it does feel like rock as he's doing it. Feels very familiar.
You know, next step, buns of steel.
For that particular scene, you know whose buns it is, but you know that'll have to wait for a special Patreon release. Anyway, that will end Raimi's turn, as he's feeling both proud of himself but also scared that this thing is still alive.
Oh yes, it is still alive.
Does
Still
it look
alive.
like below half health, at least?
It's extremely hard to determine because of that. He felt below half when the first limb came out of his body. But every single turn, the muscle just keeps reforming around his wound, growing, becoming bigger. It's so hard to determine. He looks winded. He is breathing heavily. But that's about all of the clues you have.
Alright.
He's bleeding from a variety of places. Right. Then we go to Jorg.
Jorg is so he's gonna cast a spirit totem. It's gonna be the bear because the unicorn specifies that it has to be a healing spell when it activates, and seeing as he's using that, although.
I'll say that specifically, like the wording is like casting a spell. So Aura
Yeah.
Vitality is an active spell.
It's really. Where's it, boys? Yeah, so he's going to use the bear.
How much temp do we get from that?
11. Yeah, and also he's going to get up behind audience, not in any weird way, and cast.
Just became weird because you said it.
Raimi thinking in his head, you better not.
Don't worry, he's just using a 3rd level Cure Wounds. So he's going to be in K8, just because he wants to be as far away from that thing as possible. For a total of... I'm just going to use the... Ooh, 19 health.
Audience might live next round.
Yeah, that's about as much damage as he's been doing.
There's a chance. We got a chance.
Yeah, oh, and the totem's on L4.
Who is on L4? And
So everyone has a pretty good view of it, except for...
how large does it cover?
It's a pretty big area. See exactly how far it is. 30-foot radius.
Radius.
We can
oh.
safely say that we are all there.
Yeah, it's the same as mine.
Just so you don't have to necessarily draw it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, we can just remember that it's there.
It's basically the entire battlefield.
Yeah.
What did we get from it? No.
Advantage on strength checks and saving throws.
Yup. If you ever need those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna arm wrestle this guy. with arms.
Wrestle him to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
An audience, he has so many arms. How are you gonna pick one?
We could both get him. We'll both start arm wrestling him.
All right. That was Jorg, meaning we go back to the top of the initiative with Tobiyashi.
I think I'm gonna walk away here. So first off, I am going to use my bonus action and use second wind and heal myself. Let's
Okay.
see. Okay, at least it wasn't low. 8 points of... I heal up 8 points of health points. Because, you know, you need those.
Usually.
Right? Alright, and then I'm going to... Why not? Why not? I'm gonna stay where I'm at, and I'm going to attack him again with my mace, and so I can have advantage with this.
You do.
That is a 19 to hit for the first one.
Hold on. 19 is no longer enough.
Yep.
Gosh dang it! It was
I
about to
hope
be a
it was 20.
19. No, it was about to be over 20, and then it rolled on a 1. So it's the first one, a 19 to hit, because I'm not taking a natural 1. And what else can I do? I can't do anything.
I can't do it.
Reaction.
You're gonna stare menacingly.
Jeez, I should have. The bonus action. Yeah, I'm just gonna stand there.
Being dumbfounded by the fact that your ball just deflected off of him. Aww. Okay.
Guys, we might die. We might die.
That'll be just standing next to him like that.
I'm looking at you, I'm like, I think we're gonna die.
We're fine, Toby.
Alright.
Yo, is that monk chick around somewhere, like in the shadows? Is she just like watching us die here? Or like,
No, I don't think she's here. I think it's just us.
It's just you. Alright, so Tobiyashi, that's what you do, and for the rest of the round, you just look at this and go, oh. And so, the next one is Audience with a 16.
Audience, please hit. I stayed here so you could get advantage.
I was gonna use, because I was gonna get rid of his, I don't know what it's called. Channel Divinity. Make it into a spell. Level 2 spell slot. And then he is going to double attack.
And then, as a reaction to you, because you've been annoying him slightly, he has a reaction ability, which he turns around, and although his clothes are starting to be very tattered, the shape, the unshaped form that keeps moving on his clothes, on his chest, faces you directly. So you must make a wisdom saving throw.
Alright. We got +6 to it. Which is another nat 20.
Damn.
26. They will not give me one on an attack. They will
No,
not.
but
They refuse.
but we might talk about this later. You'll be glad. You watch this and it just troubles your mind. It feels like for a moment everything just wants to stop in your mind, but you manage to push through and do your attacks as intended.
Let's go 26 on a wisdom save. Alright.
Do your
So I can
attacks.
actually hit him. I'll be like, those words have no place here in this world, and neither do you. Let me remove
those-
you.
Not
Then I'll hit him twice. Not words. I don't know. Audience. Best thing you can say is words. Alright. Alright, that'll hit with a 24.
Yes, it is enough.
Probably. And I'll see if I roll nat 20.
And then 20, come on.
I'm not. Alright, so I'll hit with the 24, and I will hit for 12 physical and 3d8. Plus the d4. 19 plus 2, so 21 radiant damage.
Oh man.
Jesus.
Uh-oh. I want to be more than 15 feet away from him now.
I know I should have moved.
Yeah.
I'm going for the kill, guys.
And maybe since we know it could happen, we'll have some sort of save
I'm
against
hoping I can kill him. If I can't, we're in trouble.
it.
Any other attacks?
Yeah, I'll attack again.
Uh-oh.
21 to hit. Does that hit?
Yes.
Do you have advantage on this one too?
Yeah, I'm seeing if I hit with the... I do not. Okay. So 21 to hit. I will roll my damage. Use my other level 2 that I just created. For my last Divine Smite. I'm sorry, Baron, I'm not resummoning you today. Which will be...
You might appreciate the vacation.
That'll be 11 physical. And then we'll see how much radiant. 2 plus 3. Those are high numbers. Plus 20 radiant, so 22.
Christ.
22
I'm gonna
radiant.
die. I'm gonna die.
We're all gonna die. I've killed all of us.
I'm dying, dude.
22 radiant damage.
The garden isn't even knowing. And they're like, why are they taking so long?
Gosh.
What's the status on your orb right now?
It's probably green. Oh no, we're in the mountains, so it's yellow. It's probably yellow.
Oh, hey, what if this is why,
I'm waiting to see what all my how much damage did I just do? Like over 50.
Oh yes, you did quite a lot of damage. I swear to all of you, this is not something that I just orchestrated. I swear. Audience, you strike at him with all of your divine powers. You just pour in all of that energy, and you just keep thinking about, oh man, this is gonna hurt so bad. You see the energy just gathering in him, pulsing, waving around him. You see it gather, starting to expand. So much energy you're pouring into him. You start hearing him roar. His size even grows even larger. He becomes a huge creature, pushing everyone out. You see his body become as hard as steel. He has a dark gray form. And just as all of this happened, you manage to shove your sword inside of him, pumping all of the divine energy you can. You see it enter him. You hear his heart just go. But the energy accumulated unleashes and pour out like a torrent of energy. You all take 34 points of damage, of radiant damage.
I'm alive.
hey,
Rainy is also alive. Barely.
so
That's-
is...
Minus the full
Damn, George would have been
27.
at 1 if he didn't have any temporary HP.
Yeah, that's minus the full.
Wait, we had temporary.
It's
HP?
26.
11
Yeah, we had
from
11.
the bear totem.
11. So that's
Oh.
27 plus 11. So that's 38. And how much did we take?
34.
So I'm at 4. Okay.
Easy.
I look like I'm gonna die from the wind.
I'm alive though.
You're alive,
Alive.
yes.
Ow.
And as the fight ends, you all realize you still have poison on you.
No!
Yo!
How much hit point did you say you have left, audience?
4.
Remy, how much hit point did you say you have left?
Rainy has dropped to 2.
Ooh.
This is the lowest Rainy has ever been.
I am at 1.
You're at 1, and
Or you're gonna have to pick up our entire party.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking.
Jorg.
Jorg's feeling pretty good. He's at 12. That's a whole fifth of his health.
All right, so because the math behind this was you take 1 hit point every time you hit him when this step arrived.
Wait, I didn't hit him last time.
No, but it accumulates. It doesn't go away unless you wash it off using a spell that would have bathed you all. The only one that doesn't take damage is Jorg, because he didn't actually hit him.
pacifists always win.
Audience, you take 6 points of acid damage.
Yep.
Remy
I get knocked
takes
out.
4 points of acid damage, and Tobiashi takes 3 points of acid damage.
So Jordan's just standing there while his team is just plops onto the ground.
Well,
Listen, at least I collapse with my sword in this thing's heart, having slain it.
Now, Jorg,
Oh,
roll that save.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's not my character sheet.
Although, arguably,
Okay.
audience
well,
was still up at the time, so still add +2. It might still be up.
he does not succeed.
Okay.
and so the spell drops. You are there on the battlefield. You see all of your friends barely survive the wave of energy that comes out. And then you start hearing them all scream and fall to the ground, one after the other. You're the only one not affected by this because you don't have the blood of your enemy on your hands.
Wow. I think we've learned a valuable lesson here.
Yes! Everyone will have to make a death save in 6 seconds.
Don't worry. Jordan's gonna spend the next
But if you get up audience can heal
18
someone.
seconds. Yeah, he's gonna
So, Jorg, what do you do?
quickly cure wounds on audience for 8 HP.
You know
Alright?
there's a quicker way to do this, right?
You're unconscious, you can't tell him.
Okay, fine. Fine.
And then
Don't help the new player. Okay, I'll walk over here.
is there a new? Okay, so what's the quicker way of doing this?
Well, alright, so you use.
Remy, I'm waking you up with the lay on hands.
13 on Tobiashi.
So,
Next.
hold on. You wake
Alright.
up Audience the first round. Audience wakes up,
Yep.
which means Remy and Tobiashi needs to do a death save.
It's a D10, right?
It's a d20.
D20. You just have to get above 10.
God. Oh, I got a 19.
Alright, you save. Remy?
Remy's gone.
Granny fails with a 6.
You have one. You have one failure, but you have Audience and Jorg there. So
Yeah. You'll be fine.
the next
Toby,
round,
you
everyone
get
comes
13.
back up.
Health.
Remy, I'm healing you for 10 of my lay on hands.
Remy, when your eyes open, you see Audience looking down on you, his hand on your chest where there is the largest wound.
I wanted you to picture also, Remy, that like audience has one hand on your chest, like healing you, and the other just on his sword, just buried in this monster chest. Just we've won, done it.
Granny, honestly, it doesn't sound weak because it has to sound exactly like how you say it. But he says in your voice, "For the dragon."
For the dragon.
I shoot up, I cough up some blood, I'm like, I hate going there.
So Zachary, if you want to tell Jorg what you had in mind, now is the time.
Yeah, so you still have a 3rd level spell slot, right?
Yes.
So if you cast Aura Vitality and just cast that 10 times over this next minute, you could do a lot of healing all at once.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do after I just got you guys up.
How much healing do we
It's only
get?
1 minute. Oh, but yeah, 10 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
All right.
I'd say just roll it once, and then times it by 10. Because that'll save some time.
All
Are you
right.
sure about it? Or I could roll it 10 times and then
You can do what you want.
that would take a lot of time.
All right.
Say for efficiency, you can roll it.
Here, a little,
once
All right.
a little bit of rain after you finish this fight, and you see the monster not reacting anymore. there is a gentle rain that just starts falling and wash away all the blood.
Audience is right now experiencing the sword in the stone because he's trying to get his great sword out of this thing's like steel-hardened chest. So I'm gonna roll a strength saving throw for that. So that's gonna be a.
It's technically at advantage.
Is it? Oh yeah, no it is. You are not wrong. All right, that's a 24 strength roll to get my sword out of this thing's body. I think I can accomplish this.
Yeah. You pull once and you're... Come on. And it comes out.
I get up and I'm like, thank you, Jorg. I'm always almost about to die. I knew I should have run. I saw the look in audience's eyes and I was like, I was scared for my own life. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, that was
Close. Really close.
scary close. Yeah, if audience hadn't finished him right there, I fear the fate of all of us.
I get up and I kind of like crawl over to the big thing's body, and I look at his body and poke it. Is it still like iron hard? Like, is it not transforming or?
Now, because of all the time it grew and all of the muscle mass it added, it is completely deformed. When you're touching it, it's like touching the scales of an armadillo. It's that thick outside.
Audience could have checked off.
You get 14 from my my 10 casting of the aura. I'm doing it the slow way. You guys can keep talking.
Jorg, you avoided being killed in that fight because you moved. If you'd remain where you were, when he became a huge creature, he had a special attack against people that were at range. And when he was huge, he had a 10 feet reach. So anyone that was beyond 10 feet could have endured 6d6 thunder damage.
Whoa!
You were that close to really getting it.
How close
Damn.
was I? How close was I to not killing him? How much was I like over the cap?
2 points.
That last.
He's at
And I rolled so well. That was, I think, my best, honestly, Divine Smite roll. I rolled like a 7 and an 8 and like a 6.
he was
so
at
easy,
-2.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
you
did
get
double phase him because I went through 2
10.
So
You get 10.
here were his abilities. So just that you know everything that happened. The Elemental Nova, at the beginning of each of his round, the energy that he absorbed was simply released as a torrent of energy everywhere. The reaction ability that he used, there was this swipe where he tried to hit Remy. He kept keeping it because he wanted to do something, but you never gave him his opportunity. So you sort of forced him not to use his reaction a lot of time. But the ability that you had, which he could use the emblem on his chest, it would have stunned you for your entire turn. You would have skipped your turn if you had failed your saving throw. And he didn't get to use his legendary action. His legendary action granted him resistance to any condition you would have inflicted on it, permanently for the entire fight. Technically, when he started, he had 90 hit points. But every 25 hit points that you took, his body changed, and his maximum hit point increased. That's why you couldn't figure out how much life he still had in him.
I was out of everything. I have no spells. I was done.
How's everyone looking for help?
I'm at 32.
13.
The orb that I gave you that gave you a night's rest and all of your resources it was meant for this fight, not the one before.
I don't remember what I healed you. I think it was like
All
7.
right. So
No, 14 with the aura.
Wait, me?
Yeah,
all right.
So 13 plus 14?
yeah.
So with this fight finish and this fiend fallen in front of you,
Alright.
silence falls
27.
on the battlefield. Then you take a few moments to heal one another with one another with different healing spells, just in case. I mean, I kept hinting that there were peritons hunting in these mountains. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give everyone 4. Yeah, let's see. I'll use 16 and then say 4 in case we all go down. So everyone gets healed for 4 HP from me.
Before we leave, can I want to spend the time while I'm getting healed to take a sample of the big guy's skin.
It's tough. You have to hack at it for a while, but you can.
Alright. Until we leave. That's what I'll be doing. I need to take it. I want to take it back to the garden.
I'm just gonna cast 4 good berries, and everyone gets 10 good berries to munch on.
What do they do? Just keep us full?
Yeah, well, 1 will fill you up for a day, but they each restore 1 health.
Oh, so 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so full. It just feels like you're walking after eating an entire turkey. Man, you're gonna have digestion problem at the end of the day.
Got like high blood sugar and like high blood pressure.
I'm thinking
Got a lot of-
diarrhea.
Oh, I was thinking the opposite. Like it's
Constipation?
So nutrient-dense, it turns into like a really.
You're gonna be constipated for a week. All right. So once you all healed yourself and you're ready to go on adventuring, is there anything you'd like to do before we go to the break?
So once Rainy finally has like most of the strength to stand up properly after all of the healing that was pumped into his body, just he would go over to hug Jorg.
You did the hard part of this fight.
You really saved my ass this time, Raimi.
Well, you saved my ass too, Raimi. And so did Audience and Tobiyashi, you guys. I wouldn't have won that fight alone, obviously. But it makes me wonder, what if we'd healed him?
What if we healed him?
Yeah. Would he have gotten smaller? Then we could have just stepped on him.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Interesting question.
And then we find out that found out during the break that casting Revivify on it would actually instantly kill him.
I cut off his pinky and take it with us.
It's a large pinky that ends with a claw.
I like put the knife on top of it and I like stomp on it a few times trying to cut it off.
While Remy is tanking Jorg and Audience is basking in the defeat that just occurred, you all turn
Audience
around.
is actually destroyed. Audience is destroying the script on his chest.
It's already pretty mangled, but yeah, sure, you can completely.
I make sure that script is no longer there.
All right.
Well, while you guys are doing that, you mind if I plant our little acorn?
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
might be good to
Rainy
have.
will just take the time to plant him himself.
Oh, you've got the
Since he
acorn. I
has
thought
it.
audience had it.
No.
Okay, thanks, Remy.
Takes a little time, a good minute, but he eventually comes out. Just forms, and you find a little patch of dirt where there's a few flowers and maybe a few grain of grass growing. And just comes out and, oh, that felt good. So what happened? Anything
I'll
interesting?
just point at the giant creature. Well, we just all almost died to that. But
Should have called me.
Yeah.
Rainy just responds, "You were sleeping so peacefully, Rainy, we didn't want to wake you."
But now that you're here,
And anyways, we handled this.
we need to take a long rest before we go. Keep going.
Well, I'll let you decide that during the break. And
Okay, I'll be right back.
all right. Well, in that case,
15 minutes, right?
15 minutes exactly. Yes.
Alrighty.
All right.
BRB.
So, see you all in 15 minutes. Take a good break. Take something to drink. Go to the bathroom. And 15 minutes, which means all right. See you all in 15 minutes, almost exactly. See you. Ah, welcome back. Look, there's a new person. What is this? What is this strangeness? Hold on. Don't talk yet because this is gonna hurt everyone's ears if I do that. I forgot that when I add a camera, you have to turn down one thing before the person talks. Otherwise, it's horrible. Now, you should be able to talk now.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
There would have been so much echo from you. Alright, so, yay, we have a player back. At least I hope. Can anyone verify sound? I made so many modifications.
yeah, I could hear him.
Oh, yo.
Okay.
I could.
Good.
Oh well.
So,
I haven't checked with.
no, that's alright, as long as one person checks it. Alright, so as you can see, we have our Warforged Warrior back. And he's going to be back very soon. As while the party is... This is annoying, there's a camera that's slightly out of... as the party is recovering, talking to Onak about what happened, just tell him that all of your achievements since last time you saw him, and he was being torn apart by wolves the last time you saw him.
Which is why Rainy gave him a vacation.
It's this camera. So while
I'm
you're...
surprised nobody asked about his vacation.
Well,
Selfish.
yeah, adventurers. They're just...
I need a vacation myself just about now.
Alright, so... We got a little camera problem. As you can see, one person is not on the screen right now. I'm just gonna reinitialize the camera. That's gonna be faster to
No.
solve.
It's me.
Here you go. That's gonna solve the problem. Now you get a big head.
Alright.
No.
Oh, cool. I don't like my new. I feel like to get in a good frame for my new webcam, I have to scoot my chair all the way back.
Oh.
Without glasses, and I can't see my screen very well.
Oh. Don't worry. We can see you.
Yeah.
Just do what I do all the time and accidentally stick your forehead straight into the camera for 20 minutes.
You mean it's intentional?
I said accidentally.
All right, so now the camera
Hey
is
guys,
set.
take a look at my pores.
All right, yeah, camera is gonna stop bugging me now. All right, so as you're all sharing all that happened with Arunak as you're getting back on the road, unfortunately, audience can't ride his battle cat for a while. Remy finding a way to ask Arunak about how was his vacation. And Remy, make an Arcana roll. Audience, audience. Okay, it could work with religion because there's some they talk a little bit about that, or history.
Okay. Audience got a 6.
Remy,
And Raimi gets 25.
25. For some reason, you're sort of when you hear what Arunak says, you're sort of glad that audience doesn't seem to know what this is, but Arunak just goes and it was pretty nice being taken care of by a few dryads, a nymph, always very pleasant.
Yes, Raimi is glad audience doesn't know what he's talking about.
You know, for your audience, you know, dryads, you've heard about this. This is nature stuff. Nymph, you've heard the name before, but
Raimi quickly turns his head to audience, notices that he doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. Breathes a sigh of relief, turns back to Ornak and just makes his customary rainbow.
yeah, it always feels like that when they play around in your branches. And so, as you hear this wonderful tale of how he was pampered by expert hands, and the party slowly makes its way back toward where there is a large group of adventurers also making their way toward all of you. The camera just pans away, slides off, you see the mountain, and then suddenly it goes really fast over the clouds, and then probably where you are it's not raining right now, so I'm gonna shut the rain off. And then suddenly it goes into the cloud, below the cloud, and you see a lake. You see in the distance the city of Otanel, and emerging from the lake you see Fisher after a nice rest. After all of the traumatizing things that just happened, your body has just barely recovered enough for you to be able to move. The cold from the water helped, and the fact that you don't need to breathe also made it that you were well hidden. But you're emerging from the river, from the lake.
Well, first of all, as soon as I get fully out of the water, I almost fall down again because my body is suddenly its actual weight and not just hopping around underwater.
You suddenly feel the exhaustion again.
And then I kind of stand up and do a quick 360 to look for any sign of what was chasing me.
You don't see anything. As far as you can tell, just before you were yanked through that dot of light, it just seemed to have lost interest in you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well then, in that case, I'm gonna pull out the orb. Is it intact?
Yeah. While you're
Yeah.
in that shape, all of your belongings are just turned into light, so nothing breaks. But you certainly feel it in your soul when you get out from something like that.
Yeah, I'll pull out the orb, and I'm assuming it is green.
Yeah.
I will contact the garden.
As always, you hear the voice of Syrah. Hello, this is Syrah.
Hi.
Fisher, you're back.
Yeah. I found the lake, but honestly,
Soft landing.
debatable whether or not it was better than last time.
Well, at least you got a soft landing this time.
Sure. Could call it that. Yeah, how much time did I lose?
Not a lot, only a few days. I believe it's been just a little under a week.
Oh, that's not too bad. And then I guess the other one is everybody else alive?
As far as I can tell, they have met up with Amyali, Temptress, Kor, and Darkane. Last update I had, they were on their way to meet up with the rest of the adventurers. The Amyali's group went to another smaller group that had left. I believe you remember them. They're the I believe you know Bertrand inside of the other group, and Coven.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So right now they went to catch up with them. They got information that they had also attacked a stronghold of the cult. So just in case they need help. But your friend are going to rejoin with Sarn and Corinth.
All right. That bag's still up in the mountains.
Yes. Provided that Sarn can expedite their travel, I'd say they will probably be back by the end of the day.
Back to the garden?
Sarn will most likely just teleport them to, travel them to the nearest gate, which is a bit debatable, but would be either the gate at Nathair or Autunel.
Oh, cool. Well then, I guess I'm on my way back. If you could let him know I'm not dead. That'd be
Very well.
cool.
Very well, sure. There's no problem with that. I'll just make a note. Here you go. I will warn them as soon as we finish our own conversation. And you'll be pleased to know that in your absence, we solved the problem of the missing information. Last time you tried to enter with a friend, apparently some information got lost, and your friend was quarantined for a few moments because of the additional creature inside of him.
Mm-hmm. You guys fixed it?
Well, we fixed something. The gnome have been experimenting with a probability control spell. They wanted to figure out what were the odds of adventurers doing things. The spell wasn't problems free. It not only predicted outcomes, it influenced them, sometime in weird ways.
Do you guys think that was purposeful, or did that seem like a side effect that they fixed?
If it had been anyone else but gnomes, I would have said it was purposeful.
Fair enough. All right. I'm on my way back. Leave the door open.
Do not worry, it is always open.
And then I will hang up and start slowly walking back to where I remember the gate being.
All right. You have maybe an hour and a half of walk in total. While you're walking, you hear Terranet also go. Are we going to talk to them about what happened? Or are we leaving it just for us?
Seems like an in-person conversation.
Okay.
There was a lot there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm still processing what actually happened. So.
Well, I can't say it's the first time for me. I am a ball after all. But still.
Mm-hmm. So you saw what I saw, right? I didn't just make that up.
No. I mean, I don't think you can make that up.
Fair enough.
I don't know what it was. I mean, the only times I've ever been into this dimensions was since I've been traveling with all of you. A creature like this.
Mm-hmm. I've got 2 theories, and I'm not sure which one is worse. Well, possibly 2 theories, depending on whether or not Fisher knows something. I'm trying to remember. Do I know that the garden is being chased by something?
Not to your knowledge.
Okay. That was... Alright. Never mind then. I have 1 theory.
You know that they are restrained in some way. They can't exert more power than a certain point. But you don't know exactly why.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Was that told to audience and he didn't in private and he didn't share it? Because I vaguely remember that coming up.
Audience knows a few things which you all don't. Some of them have been asked. Some of them, the garden have asked him not to disclose it. So it might be something he shouldn't disclose.
Trying to remember if that was one of them. Okay. Yeah.
It's on a need-to-know basis, and you're not on the need-to-know.
Yeah.
But definitely, although you...
Does Toby need to know? No.
Well, Fisher, you do remember that audience got considerably darker for a few days after the events under the lake.
Yeah.
But he never talked a lot about it. So maybe it's something similar, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna keep walking back.
All right, so you walk in silence, pondering about what was that you saw. Remembering that also, you're not sure who, but you know there's someone you probably have to thank somewhere in the garden.
Mm-hmm. Do I get the sense that it was a person more than instead of say like a being or some
You
such?
felt a gentle presence, almost motherly in its kindness toward you.
Huh. I think, seeing as that is a rather alien feeling to Fisher, and what he thinks was the thing chasing him, he assumes whatever helped him was some god or another or something, and that's really bugging him because he doesn't like to think that he owes anything to any deities or anything like that. But that's kind of what's going through his head right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Good news. You don't have the wisdom or the charisma to multi-class into cleric or paladin, so don't worry about it.
So, with that in mind, you all ponder. Going back to the garden. In the mountain, while everyone is talking, hearing these wonderful tales about gentle hand taking care of his branches and pampering him back to moral health. After a few hours of walk, so I don't know. Tobiyashi doesn't know what this is. I'm wondering, the character doesn't know what this is. Does the player know what dryads and nymphs are?
A little bit,
Okay.
not too much, but I know a little bit of what they are.
Okay.
Enough to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen Hercules, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Phil was first introduced in that movie?
Mm-hmm.
One of those.
Okay. All right.
It would have been on par with the dryads, I'd say. Dryads from Dungeons and Dragons. Just so that you know, a nymph, if you're a male and you watch a nymph, you go blind from beauty.
Okay. Luckily, they didn't come with them. I can see your cat in the back.
I was gonna say, good thing
Perfectly
audience has
cut out.
blind sight.
He'd sacrifice his sight in order to see a nymph once. Forever, always stuck with only 10 feet of sight. It's worth it. Although, audience, with the reaction that Remy has when Orunak talks about nymph and dryads, you might have a little moment of, maybe I'll have to look up what this is. But you all make your way back, and after a few hours of walk, you meet up with the rest of the group. They're slowly walking, and as always, the first one that you see is Corinth, who just looks at all of you as you're arriving, and you see that turtle-esque form just wave at you.
I'll give a wave back. A little beat up because I'm just a little over half health, so I'm definitely a little bit still like beat up, but give a wave back.
I'll give him a nice bow. I don't know who he is yet, so no.
All right, that's right. All right. So what you see arriving in front of you is a large group of people. Among them, you see, a few dragonborns. You see a gnome. You see a second. You see a halfling that you recognize. Longshot is in the group.
Oh, nice.
You see a turtle that has a maul as a weapon. It is large. It looks like a huge stone. But turtles don't really wear armor. However, this one does have a metal apron. Probably more for looks than for actual protection.
Got a bib on. Yeah.
It goes down all the way to his knees. You see a few humans. You see an elf, a female elf, judging from how she looks. She's probably bard.
Mm-hmm.
You see also of note in the group a half-orc.
Yeah.
You see a goblin. And you see one of those small creature, the shroons. Those that usually have a mushroom hat on their head. However, this one is different. He doesn't have a mushroom hat. From what you know, this means he's either banished from his clan or simply clanless.
Okay. A lone wolf. I got it.
Or he's waiting for his new hat to be paid.
Yeah.
And so this is the group that you see arriving, slowly making its way toward the group. And Jorg, Audience, and Remy all seems to recognize most of them, at least. Corinth is the turtle one. And as soon as you arrive close, you immediately feel that he has some similarities with Audience. Cordial, a bit loud, but kind. He just exudes a sense of safety. The moment that you reach a certain distance from him. Audience, you recognize this because you've just starting to exude that sense of protectiveness. But you acknowledge his as a better range than yours.
Yep. I assume it's 30 feet.
I see that you all been through a bit of a tussle.
Yes.
Was the avatar of the god that hard?
No, we came across a barbarian, a lone barbarian on our way actually here after we'd separated from Ami Ali and their group, and he had the I don't know if you've seen it before. It's like a strange writing that's not writing. It doesn't actually have a form. The only it gives you like a sick feeling. I don't know if you've seen it on any of the enemies you fought.
No, I can't say that I can't say that it rings any bell.
I've seen it now twice. It's like an unformed. So it like has no form, but it's hard to explain. It usually enemies with that usually, as you fight, they have some kind of extra power where they usually become some type of abomination as you fight them. this one grew larger and gained extra arms, and his skin grew harder as we fought him. It was a quite tough fight. We three of myself included, all actually. I slew him, but as I slew him, he had acid blood, and 3 of our party members actually went down due to it. Luckily, Jorg was able to revive us, so we're all doing a bit of rough shape.
For visual cue, Rainy attempts to minor illusion like the final frame of this creature.
As you see it fall on the ground and you start hearing everyone in the party scream in pain from the acid. Yes.
After that, I bow. I'm like, thank you all for coming and trying to help us.
You seem to have a party member that's changed. Has your Warforge become a real boy?
That is not the same person.
Oh, okay. And who might you be?
My name is Tobiyashi, and I was with the audience before I got taken away by the cult.
I see. In what way were you with audience?
In the group with him before most of the people here.
So, you traveled together for a while?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's very intriguing.
After that, I bow, like, I finish bowing, and then I put my head up, and then I'm looking for a sharp knife. I kind of go to Remy. I'm like, you got any like really sharp knives? And I'm like, he just opens up his thing. I'm just like,
no, just like opens up his cloak, and you just see like a bandolier of daggers and like a couple short swords hanging up.
I'm just like picking them up and looking which one's sharpest. I'm like, not that one. I'm putting that one back. I'm just like, okay, this one's sharp enough. And then I'm gonna try to start shaving with it, and that's pretty much what I'm doing while we're standing there.
You want to see my swords, kid? Yeah, Corinth looks at you odd, yeah. Nervous little fellow.
He's had it rough. He's been in prison and like on an island, I think, being hunted constantly for however long, like a month, a few months.
Vegeta was a prison bitch.
All very interesting, as always. With such a colorful vocabulary.
I'm just looking at him while I'm shaving. I'm like, what the hell is a prison bitch?
Well, there was a woman interrogating you.
That is true. I'm like, she was a bitch. That's what he meant.
Probably. As you're all mixing in with this group of familiar faces, you see Sarn making its way slowly toward all of you. Oh, they've been walking a bit fast. I mean, I don't have legs quite as large as everyone else. Fortunately, I have Rock with me. He's been a great help. When he says this, especially for you, Tobiyashi, you see this large slab of stone just float near Sarn.
Is it just stone? It doesn't have like eyes or anything?
No, it's a slab of rock. Smooth on one side, and the other one feels like it was just yanked out of the ground.
Okay. And like that looks like a good meditating spot.
Its name is Rock.
Oh yeah, it's actually very very cozy. If you need to rest on it. I often sleep on it also.
Okay.
I
I need to get me one of those.
Sometimes
Well-
he sleeps under it.
Well, that's not too comfortable, but if it rains, yeah, it's also useful. I don't know if you'd be able to find one. I mean, you'd need to travel to an elemental plane. Or find a doorway to the glaive.
Oh, is it humming? Is it vibrating? The rock?
No, it's just
No.
floating there, not doing any
Dang.
sound.
Okay. All right. I go back to shaving and cutting my hair.
Personal grooming, that's always good. They keep telling me that I should comb my hair. Well, I don't see the use of it. They've stopped growing, so why mess with it? Alright, well, I've been informed that you'd all like to go back to the garden as fast as we can. Get the feeling you all feel like you need a little bit of rest. Maybe healing also.
And a nice shower.
Yeah.
Bath, not shower.
Will your friend be coming with us? He points toward Tobiyashi.
Yes, I believe he technically should have a spot in the garden, as he was initially
Oh.
one of the members who was going to come before he was taken.
Oh, well, in that case, we'll have to warn the garden. We're bringing it.
As he says that, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna sit right here and let you guys leave without me. That's exactly what's gonna happen here.
There's stone.
And we just wave goodbye to Tobiyashi like an episodic person from like the Pokemon anime, just like, see you again someday, and then we never hear from them again.
I'm just like, what?
I guess I just need to find a tree or a bush somewhere.
They turn to Ornak.
I smell a hazelnut. Does someone have acorns on them? You're muted.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking to myself.
If anyone has acorn, I can probably use this to grow a tree. Get us all back to the garden faster.
I just point to the tree guy in the back.
We can make him into an acorn.
I thought he had acorns. Does he not grow acorns himself?
Oh, does he?
Oh wait, I have acorns. What am I talking about? I pull out like the handful of acorns and I just like put my hand out to him.
Oh, all right. One will do. Oh, they smell magical. Oh, that'll do. You're muted.
Oh, right. Hello, Red Dot. I was just commenting out loud, just like the DM, just like, largely hinting like, gee, if only one of you had an
If
acorn.
only someone had an acorn. I thought he was talking about the tree. He could smell it off the tree, and then I was like, oh wait, I do have acorns on me. I forgot about that.
You have two handful now.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, just let me. Hold on. That should be fine. You see him reach in one of his pockets. He takes a bunch of leaves. Oh, it makes ground at some point. Put them on the ground. You see him make a concentrate. And you see the leaves turn dark, turned into sort of mush. Then you see him mixing a little bit of dirt, adds a little bit of water. Well, it's not perfect, but it's soil. All right. Let's see. He puts the acorn in it, and you see him start concentrating. He starts chanting a prayer, and after a while, he let go of the energy, and you see the acorn just starts to grow and grow and grow, and you see an oak tree grow in front of you in a matter of minutes.
Does it look like Onak a little bit?
No, it looks like a genuine oak tree.
I see. It's like one of his children. And he had with a nymph.
Oh, yes, I've heard about those. I don't see the point of them, but they serve a purpose. Nature always creates things with a purpose. They do take care of nature quite efficiently.
Have you seen Audience? No,
Audience? I don't know if he's good for nature, but he's good against evil. You get the feeling that Sarn may take things a little more literal than the average person. And with the way that he reacts and thinks a bit to himself out loud, you also have this odd feeling that he's used to being alone. Unhealthily alone.
Rami, as like maybe people start turning toward audience, Rami just puts a bit of a golden halo around audience.
You see light appear behind audience's head. Oh. All right. Oh, hold on. I can open this. The oak tree is not going to last long here, but you see him put his hand on the tree and then just pull down, and you see a portal open in the tree. All right, come on, everyone, hurry up. The portal doesn't stay open forever. You start seeing people just enter the portal, one after the other. Tobiyashi, you see this large group of people just walk in a tree and disappear.
I'm just like, we're just supposed to trust this guy? I see everyone else walk in. I'm like, okay. I just walk in behind him.
Rami takes Ornak by the branch and starts leading him through so that he's quick enough.
Well, that's going to be a bit of a new experience. Follow you?
Don't tell me he's never been in a tree before.
It would suggest that it's something like that.
He's never been intercepted before.
Oh. All right, so you make your way.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Which is for another 25 minutes. So you all make your way inside, and quite easily enough, you find yourself outside of Otanel. It's no longer a mountain. You're back on the plains. Sun is setting, but you suddenly feel the moisture in the air, the grass in front of you. Here, there's more than one tree. There's actually several of them. You see the giant city of Otanel just right in front of you with his skyport. Just taking on ships. And you, one by one, slowly make your way toward the gate of the garden. Easily enough, you make your way in, and you find yourself all arriving in the garden. Although just before Tobiyashi enters, you do see someone contact the
I
garden.
get the cutscene that everyone already got before.
You see someone contact the garden. You see Longshot coming toward you. Hey. It's been a while. They told me
It has been a
you'd been
while.
captured.
Yeah, it was for quite some time, but I made it out alive.
Can you imagine that? I got an invitation a week after yours.
That was nice. That was nice. I'm glad to see you again.
Yeah. Wait a little bit before everyone goes in because they need to just process you properly. You're gonna be appearing in a different place. I'll come with you.
Alrighty. Well, while we wait, you want to meditate, or are you still not into that kind of thing?
Well, there's only about 20 people. It's they're all gonna be in after 2 or 3 minutes. So it's
I'll be fine.
oh okay
2-3 minutes is long enough.
okay.
We can think about our existential dread for the moment.
As all right. Oh, well, you're into dread now. Okay. Oh wow, things change fast. As you're all entering, a few moments before it's your turn, audience, you hear your orb ring for you.
Alright, we'll pick it up.
It's Sierra.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, audience. I'm just calling ahead. Your friend made it back to the garden. He's safe, don't worry. He looked a bit traumatized, but to be honest, I think he needs a bit of a moral boost. He's been... Well, let's just say that the gnomes have prepared a welcoming for him, and he didn't seem to enjoy it as much as other people. He might need a little bit of a moral boost. He's, I think, still in the tavern.
Oh, well,
Better
I'm
get the
super
nymphs.
glad that he's okay. I will go check on him when I get back. I'll turn to the rest of the party and be like, hey guys, Fisher's back from his journeys through the wherever the orb takes us.
Oh shit! I'll grab the box out of my bag of Worm Boy and
Worm boy.
and find. I want to go find Fisher now.
Well, I'll say he's at the tavern. I was gonna head. Apparently, he needs a moral boost. I'm sure seeing Tery will help.
Yeah. Hey Tery, I'm gonna open the box and say, hey Tery, you know, I'm gonna go bring you to Fisher. I know you don't know what I'm saying, but you'll get to see Fisher again.
And now I'm questioning why I am talking to you.
Yeah. What do I expect back?
He stares at you for a moment.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave the box open and carry it
Okay.
with me.
Fisher, as this little moment has betrayed for player, Fisher character is actually had an interesting reception once you got inside the garden. You walked for an hour and a half, and then you got inside the garden, and familiar place. You know that it's a place that's relatively safe, so long as you stay away from the experimentation level. It's relatively safe. What would be the first thing Fisher would do as he enters? You're muted.
Ponder his existential dread, obviously.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Kinda.
all pondering our exponential dread. That's exactly.
He'd probably go try to go to the library to try and talk to what's her name? Thadrin,
Okay.
I think. About teleporter stuff and yeah.
Okay. You've arrived in the civilian district, so you have two choices. You can walk the circle, which would probably be faster, or you can go through the arboretum and then go to the knowledge quarter. You'd be going through the tavern if you're going through the ring.
Yeah, I'd go through the ring.
All right. As you walk, find yourself crossing a few of the wardens. As always, they simply bow quietly, respectfully, and they keep walking. You do cross one or two gnome, and as soon as you see them, they start talking to one another in Gnomish, and they stare at you, and they move away.
I like take a step to follow them, and then I'm like, I don't want to deal with that right now. And then I keep going.
You keep moving until, as expected, you arrive in the tavern. It's mostly empty. You see a few of those adventurers that so far haven't done anything of worth. Nothing that gets them noticed, really. It's sort of, oh yeah, I remember that human. What's his name again? They're just there.
Set dressing.
Yeah. Extras. You see them, they're just staring, eating something. You see one dwarf, 2 or 3 humans. As you enter into the tavern, you make a few steps, and of course it's easier to just go through the center. So as you arrive near the stage, you hear coming from all around you at the same time, and you see all of the light dimming around you. There's a spotlight in the center of the stage, barely a few feet in front of you, and you see a gnome appearing. She just seemed to appear out of thin air. She looks at you, and then you start hearing music in the background. Sort of a cappella style. Music just made by other gnomes that you hear in the background just going... And you hear the gnome go, "We thought you were a friend. We thought we could trust you. But it turns out the truth was not so." Then you hear, "You're a rat." And you see a few gnome coming out of under the tables on the first floor. You see from the second floor, the banisters, you see another group of gnome appearing. "You're a roach." And you see from the third floor, another group of gnome appearing in the banister. "You're a snitch." And you hear them all start singing at once. "We thought you were reliable, but it turns out we can only trust you as well as you can throw a spell. You're a rat, you're a roach, you're a snitch. You'd sell out your own mother if you could." You hear a gnome go, "Oh wait, you don't have one." You hear another gnome say, "Well, that explains a lot." You hear them all start singing again in harmony. "You're a rat, you're a roach, you're a snitch." And you see the gnome in front of you again say, "Even your maker didn't want you. He threw you overboard the first chance he got." And then slowly you hear The gnomes at first floor say, "You're a rat." Second floor, "You're a roach." And last floor, "You're a snitch." And it disappears. You see all of the gnome disappears all at once. You see a few fireworks appear everywhere. And the light goes back. And you hear a human go, "They've been doing this all day. Everyone has one different. It's been so great."
You saying they've been doing this to multiple people
Oh yeah.
all day?
And they made one different for each person. Apparently someone ratted them out, like they say.
Yeah, I put that together.
Yeah, someone told about stuff that they've been doing, and they've been busy working it out, figuring out who did that. Apparently, you said something at one point. That was the best one yet. I can't wait for the others to arrive.
That's an embarrassing amount of work. And I'll just keep walking.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was so disappointed when you left because I'd finished making that and said, "Oh god damn it, I'm not gonna be able to say it."
I was trying to remember if and when I actually did something.
Oh, you did.
Or said something. I assume Did I let it slip or did I purposely tell somebody? Because I don't remember.
You let it slip.
But okay.
It was a mistake, but it was. I was so sad. I kept saying, "I took so much time baking it. Why are you leaving?"
Just to be clear, it's an embarrassing amount of effort on the part of the gnomes. I appreciate the effort you put in.
Oh yeah, they had to not only make the lyrics but also design the choreography, and then there's the rehearsals.
There are the illusions, because obviously the moment you start walking, you realize that every single gnome that you saw singing was an illusion. Even the little gnomish girl that arrived in the center stage.
Yeah. I'll keep going.
You hear Taranad go, "That was interesting."
Yeah.
All right. So, you make your way all the way. With that little tune also. It's one of those annoying tune because the little part when they go, "You're a rat, you're a rat, you're a roach, you're a snitch," it feels like a children's song. So you just keep involuntarily just going, It's made to get stuck in your head. So
he's a rat. Every adventure knows he's a rat.
Yeah, as soon as I start getting it out of my head, Taranad hums it back. And it's stuck in his head.
Yeah, he just goes, "It's a catchy tune."
He's bouncing back and forth.
It's just that kind of a catchy tune. So, you walk all the way to the knowledge quarter where it's fairly quiet. You know that it's the end of the day is arriving, but with all of the adventures, it's very quiet in the garden, with the exception of the tavern that has apparently several interesting show playing recently. You arrive in the knowledge quarter and you see a lot of warden walking about trying to do what they do. After a few moments, you do notice Thayag who is working maybe 2 level above you. But she's easy to recognize, as she's the only person wearing a warden's robe that has blonde hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will. She look busy.
She always looked busy doing something, reading a book, praying for something.
Mm-hmm. But like
She was referred to you
on
as
something on something time crunch important.
You'd have a hard time determining if it's that or just her normal look. She's always studying something. She's been named as one of the most prominent student in the garden. So,
yeah. Then I will head up and grab her attention.
as you arrive, maybe you're 20 feet away from her, and I see you have all of your limbs. That is always a good news.
Yeah. I'm assuming you heard about the mishap.
Oh, well. In a way. I didn't see exactly what was in there, but I knew that re-establishing a tether was probably very important.
What do you mean?
Well, the tether broke.
Wait, was that you?
Have you already forgotten? We talked about this. Well, at least you were in the room when they talked about this. I am the one who gets everyone back to safety. I am the one pulling the tether.
Right. Yeah, no, I remember that now. It was it's a bit of a jarring experience. So I guess thanks for that.
Well,
'Cause
you're welcome.
yeah, there was something chasing me.
The space between shards is volatile. It's as much a void as a place where you can find many things. Any creature that seeks to enter a shard will need to go through that void. That was most likely a creature trying to enter your shard. Or sending a version of itself in the shard.
And how hard would it be for said creature to enter our shard?
Well, it depends. If it's just a very powerful and ancient creature, so long that it can attune itself, only a question of time. But gods are submitted to different rules. And so if that was part of a god, it can't. It would have had to send an avatar in. But it's risky for gods to go into that void. They'd have to be a little desperate.
Well, thanks anyway.
Well,
It was
I always try.
the
to do my
landing
best.
was actually a lot nicer than last time.
Oh,
But
there's not a lot I can do about landings. Shards are big, and that level of precision is, well, very hard to achieve. But nonetheless, thank you very much. I believe there's only two other who actually came and thanked me for this, so it's always a pleasure to get a adventurer back to safety. Relative safety, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks again. Yeah, I'm gonna head back to the tavern to meet up with the rest of my party, but I'll probably be back sometime soon with Tery, the little worm creature aberration.
Yes.
It is learning.
Well, I would assume so. He seems to have quite a active intellect.
Yeah, so could definitely use some help with that.
I will do my best.
I started trying to communicate with him through like knocking on the box that I held him in, and then he invented an entire, as far as I can tell, language in a matter of seconds that instantly went over my head. So,
Well, that's definitely very intriguing. I'm pretty sure a lot of students here will love to hear about this.
oh, and then I will take out. I believe I had a paper copy of some of his writing, or the alphabet that he made,
Oh, well, that's always useful.
and I will take it out and hand it to her.
Thank you very much. I will study this.
And then I'll head out.
Your friend should be arriving soon, I believe. They're just an hour or two away from meeting up with the group, so.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. And please have a pleasant stay. I'd be mindful of the tavern. I've heard that the gnomes have been greeting several adventurers in a very personal way.
Yeah.
Apparently it's been going on for a day and a half now.
One of the more interesting experiences I've had.
Yeah. Well, in that case.
Yeah. Those guys are weird.
I think it comes with the definition of a gnome.
Yep. And then I'll head out.
All right. You head back to the tavern where, as you enter, you see a few humans looking at you, just talking to themselves and laughing a little bit. You see a gnome watching you like a hawk on the second level. Then he leaves.
Yeah, I just stare at him back until he leaves. And then I am going to go to the bar and get, like rubbing alcohol or whatever.
Need to put the body back in order. Oh,
Whatever insanely strong drink might actually be able to get him intoxicated.
jeez Louise. Is that what you say to the,
Do you have any pate thinner?
Yeah.
What about antifreeze?
Is that the request that you made to make to the warden at the counter?
Well, yeah, I guess I'd ask for whatever they drink when they want to not think about stuff for a little bit, if that's something they even do.
When you say this, you have sort of a reaction from the warden. I'm not sure you can digest what we can take. But I can give you one. It's the only thing we can actually drink other than water. Hold on. Goes away. When he comes back, he puts in front of you something that is half the size of a pint, but whatever is inside is slightly bubbling, probably closer to a very strong fizz, and it's fluorescent blue.
Windex. Cleans the
Powerade.
insides. Yeah. Yeah, I will thank him and then try it.
Chug, chug, chug. Dies from a drink.
No, I just want to... Oh, goodness. How is it going to affect you?
Tery number 2.
Like,
Yeah,
you have a
another
younger
one.
brother now, Tery.
It's just what happens when Fisher drinks something his body can't process.
I can... Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom save.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's Fisher's favorite save.
Uh-huh. This doesn't count as a poison, right?
Not that kind of stuff, no.
Okay. Hey. 14.
14, alright. So, you take a sip or a gulp or a shot.
I'll cautiously bring it up, like wave it around in front of my face, and then just like down half of it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Immediately, you sort of feel what he meant by, I'm not sure if you can actually take it. There is a jolt of energy that you feel. You suddenly become extremely aware of everything that goes on in the room. Colors become brighter. Sound seems to become sharper.
This is the opposite of what I want.
Got hit with anxiety. No shit.
Everything seems to be going crisper, and for some reason, you start thinking so fast. Everything seems to be going in slow motion around you. And everything just goes really fast in your mind, and it feels like you've never been able to think so many things all at once. And you start pondering about the universe and Tery. Some of the stuff he does suddenly makes sense. And then it just goes completely away. And it feels like someone just punched you until you had a brain freeze. And you're just left there in your chairs going, oh. And this is the state that your friends find you in when they enter. When they enter the tavern, you all see Fisher with a glass half empty in his hand, staring in your direction, but not staring at any of you exactly, just going, oh. And you got the feeling that he's trying to
it's
say
just that
something.
Mouth slightly open and the Windows startup noise. Or the blue screen noise.
You get the feeling that he's trying to say something, but his voice has been slowed so much that all you hear is, oh.
Damn, I was like, serious if he needed a moral pick-me-up, not that he was brain dead. What was in that drink?
You see,
Remy, very concerned, has run up to Fisher's body.
He's not really reacting to the outside world right now.
basically what happened is that you had such a rush and went so high in all of your capacities that you completely crashed. And now you're living the extended version of what happens after a haste spell ends. But it's been going on like this for half an hour non-stop. Oh.
I'm gonna smell the drink of whatever drink he was drinking. Like, what was in this?
It's fizzing very hard. It's fluorescent blue. You're more used to magic. When you take a whiff of it, feels like you're sniffing magic. It is a highly condensed arcane solution.
I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to drink this, but
it's essentially it's liquid magic.
Well, hey Terry, you want to try this?
no, God no. What are you doing?
So I'm just gonna say straight up, if
Fisher
you
just
said that,
extremely slowly starts pushing the mug like away from George.
No, I'll do you one better. The mug is being lifted into the air by an invisible mage hand out of Jorg's reach.
No, hear me out, guys. He could be, imagine what we could find out about him. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he's already.
I guess Fisher. It's good to see you. Here's Terry. I'll leave the decision up to you.
You see, he shows you Terry. You think he grew a quarter of an inch? That's about it. Other than that, he looks exactly the same. And he's staring at you. As he always does.
Yep.
Fisher. Twice if this is a good experience. Okay, I won't try it. Wait, what was that? Was that 2?
While Jorg is pondering what Fisher is trying to say, Tobiyashi, from your side, it's just that you didn't enter the garden from the same door. When you arrived, you were greeted. You appeared in a long hallway, colored brass and silver. The walls are a brassy color, a brass gold color, and sides of doors seems to be made of a silvery material. The floor looks like it's made of marble, but you can easily notice that it's not actually marble, but it has a nearly metallic shine to it. And immediately you're greeted by Longshot, who just, come on, don't worry, they're all nice. The color feels familiar of the dream that you had before you were captured. It's the same type of colors. Are you following Longshot?
Yes, I'll follow him.
Okay. He gently pulls you toward a being that looks like the one that handed you the coin and the letter originally. Tall, as tall as audience, wearing a black cloak. One of them has glove, but the other one, you immediately notice from his hand, is a construct. It has mechanical hands, or arcane fueled hands. As you arrive, you see the one that you can see his hand. Welcome. You have been long awaited.
Yeah, I heard. Before anything else happens, I want to give you these, and then I hand him the book for the Dwarven City, and then on top of it is just like the finger that I took off of the guy, and I'm like, these are for research purposes, and then I just hand him to him.
He looks at them for a moment, and he looks at you. Yes. Well, you have more than ample opportunities to hand this to the right person. Should you decide to stay, this can be a base of operation for you, maybe even a home. But for now, you need to be settled in, and I believe there is something waiting for you in the vault. But we have time with the vault. This can wait until tomorrow. For now, let me just show you a bit of the garden. Hold on. There's one name that I forgot. No, that's too low. All right. So he looks at you. And I am the one leading this expedition. My name is Illithane. This here is my aide, Ogolith. If you need anything, you can simply look for a warden, and they can easily help you. But for now, and while he keeps walking, he makes you walk inside of a large area. You see in front of you there's light. Then you recognize that, oh, okay, it's a bit of a sunset light. Yeah, it was sunset outside, so you're in place. And then you step outside of this hallway, and the light is a bit glaring, but as your eyes adjust properly, it is an entire forest that is in front of you. To the left, the forest starts, and to the right, there seem to be some sort of park, a few streams, bridges going over them. Interesting place for meditation, lone trees and ponds. And Illithane looks at you and, well, this is, many people call this the garden, as everyone got the invitation of the garden. But this is the Arboretum, a place where you can stay for as long as you wish. As soon as you are ready to move on, you can simply find one of the warden. There is one at every exit of the Arboretum, and you will be shown to your room. If you decide to stay, the room will become yours. I believe that most of your friends are slowly gathering in the tavern right now. But you do not have need to find them right away if you wish. or you can simply go right toward them. As for the research material, well, if you insist on selling this immediately, simply give it to one of the warden as you exit the arboretum, and they will take it to the appropriate person. But I'd suggest that you explore the garden a bit. Finding those who will take it can be an interesting way of getting to learn more about this place. We do have a knowledge quarter, and we do have a research quarter for interesting material like this. If you need anything, do not hesitate. Tomorrow we will hand you your object. And if you decide to stay, you will be given a way to communicate with us. And also you will not need to enter from this point every single time. Do you have any questions?
No, I think I'll be here for a while. And I bowed to him. I'm like, thank you for taking me here.
He bows.
I'll find someone to give these to as soon as I can.
Okay. Well, in that case, if you don't stay in the arboretum, you immediately make your way toward one of the sides, but it feels like it goes on forever. It takes a good 20 minutes before you find one of the side of this place. And this is where you realize that there's a large wall. And judging from the way that it turns, it probably covers the entire area. But, just like he said, you find a warden, one wearing a cloak and a hood, wearing gloves, and what do you do when you find yourself in front of him?
I'll say, here, I found these along my way over here. If you guys would like to study them, I heard they are of great interest to you people. And I hand him the book and the finger.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll hand these to the proper persons. Are you going to take the payment for this, or do we send it to a group?
Payments. I'm getting paid for. Wait a minute. I didn't hear about any payments.
Well, we are a exploration expedition. Any knowledge you can give is going to be compensated.
Well, yes. Just send it to my room.
Very well.
Okay. And then I will turn around. I guess I'll stay in the garden for a little while, look around, see what there is, maybe meditate about my existential dread for a second, and then catch up with Longshot, and then I'll try to find everybody else.
Okay. Well, in that case, you'll be arriving very late at the party in the tavern. But yeah, you catch up with Longshot quite easily. We can end this going back to the tavern. How is it going in the tavern?
Have I sped up at all?
It's a bit of a
Want me to
jarring
make another
effect.
wisdom save?
I'm more thinking about. Have you decided on if you were going to feed that beverage to Tery or not?
He's gotta try it.
Uh,
It'll expand his mind.
I will not allow it to happen if
It
possible.
will expand his
I'm not sure
mind.
how much agency I have over the world
Well,
around me right now.
It's
but-
just that you're acting very slow. You see him just go try and reach this. You see the mug going up and going away. You see Jordan. You want to interfere, but instead of just going like this, no. It's sort of. Your hand just moves very slowly toward the mug. When you listen to it carefully, you, Remy, you're used to hearing people talk, and audience, you're used to seeing people having this kind of reaction. You think he's saying no. It's just really slow.
Yeah, and Remy just brings the mug to the maximum 30 feet above his head. Firmly out of reach of anything Jor can do.
Fine whip. I won't do that.
That would potentially blow up this entire tavern.
Yeah.
It's like pure magic.
Yeah. I would like just a taste.
No, you don't. You will die. You are a human. You are not.
I slowly turn to look at Jorg and like reach my hand out and like poke him, and then my hand really slowly comes back up to my eyes, and I just go, "No."
But
You really don't.
I'm gonna call the bartender. I'm gonna be like, bartender, can we remove this drink from this area before one of my fellow party members does something
Just throw
stupid?
it in there.
oh yeah.
Beer pong with Terry.
Right now, one of my human members of my party is trying to drink this drink, and I would prefer it not be in the vicinity.
Audience
Yes. Well,
rephrases it. One of my party members is trying to commit suicide. And
All right, Toby. I'm gonna teach you how to use revivify. Okay.
right. I'm not sure it would. I'm not sure how it would react with biological organism.
That means I want some.
Find out.
Oh, I mean,
But I'll take it. Don't worry. And I imagine Remy lowers the cup into the hand of the warden.
yeah, just kind of like just making sure it stays constantly out of Jorg's reach as it starts moving toward the warden.
Slam dunk it. 2 points.
He takes the cup and all right. Well, I'm sure one of the gnomes will want to try this at one point. He just waves his hand over it, and you see his sleeve go over the cup, and when the sleeve leaves, the cup is no longer there. Well, interesting. I will... I will convey to... Oh goodness, where is... I will convey to Carthane that the arcane beverage doesn't react the same way on your arcane life form than on him. He quite like it. Well, I don't worry, everything should go back to normal. He's looking at you, Fisher, when he's saying this. It's temporary effect. Although it never lasted that long with Garthane. But don't worry, I'm sure it'll be fine. It takes a little while, but slowly you're gonna go back to normal. Don't worry. You're not gonna have to do an episode of that.
Wait. Take another drink. Maybe that was just a fluke.
It's an acquired taste.
It's like
Yeah.
Gotta get used to it.
It's
Like
like
drinking
beta
ale for the
testing.
It doesn't really work right the first time.
It's like beta testing. You have to reproduce the bug 3 times.
Yep.
All right. And so, as you have this very interesting moment of reunion.
I will.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
While, all that. I mean, it's going to be super late, but that's how slow Fisher is thinking and acting right now. Is Terry out on, did you put him on the bar? Or.
Well, I believe you were holding him, Jorg. Is that it?
Yeah, he's in the box. I can put it down in front of you.
Yeah. I will extremely slowly tap on the box. Danger, water.
You see him look at you, and you see his front orifice opens, and you just hear a... And you start smelling a bunch of mixed smell as he's doing this.
That's new.
Incidentally, does Raimi recognize this particular smell, or is it distinct?
No, it's when you know. It's the one that relates to essentially the question mark. So either confusion, a question, things like that.
Okay. Raimi will turn to Fisher and in a woman's voice says like, "I don't believe he understands what you're saying, Raimi."
I'm to go, by the way.
That's understandable. Alphabet knowledge library. I'll vaguely point in the direction.
All right. Well,
And I'll start to get up, and then as soon as my center of gravity shifts off of the bar stool, I just fall on the floor.
oh wow! It's the first time you see Fisher drunk. Well, as close as he can get to drunk. All right.
All right.
Well, this is an interesting place where the camera can turn to black as you see just Fisher get up and you just hear...
It's like he falls on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so, camera pans back, going away as this episode comes to a close. And the family is reunited. And Tobiyashi will eventually be reunited with the rest of the group, but he took a long meditation break. So...
I'll be there soon, after you guys are already drunk.
Well, Fisher's already there. Alright, so I hope you had a pleasant evening. I hope you enjoyed the fight at the beginning of the episode. I hope you enjoyed the fact that we have Fisher back and everything that comes with this. And there's most likely going to be something interesting also in the beginning of next episode, as the two group, if they want, will most likely try and share everything that has happened. Or share it at least with the garden. So, until then...
I heard there was snitches in the garden. I don't know if I could tell them anything now.
Snitches get stitches.
As
You haven't gotten that far to the garden yet.
you're still meditating, but you don't know why. You hear people walking in the
long
corridors
shot told me.
as you're walking toward there. Na 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 na. Why are people singing that?
Like, All right.
You hear a dwarf going. That was nice, wasn't it? So, until next episode then, see you all on Wednesday. If you missed the episode today, there will be a rebroadcast on Friday at 7:30 Eastern time. So quite early for Western time. But you can catch it there. And until then, as always, if you enjoyed the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, become a Patreon, subscribing, because now that also helps, or simply spreading the word of this channel, because the more people there'll be, the more fun it'll be, especially in chat. We had people talking this time. It's always fun. And I always read at the end of the episode, but I always read what's been said. So, thank you all for watching. Hope we'll see you next episode or next rebroadcast. And until then, stay safe. And as always, in these time we're living, stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.